Welcome to the Warriors Way. This week we are going to be interviewing Russ Hill and Carrie Chanter. Say good morning real quick.
Good morning. Everybody.
Good morning.
All right, and they're from Community Mental Health. If you guys want to pop on their website to check out what they do while we're talking, that'll be www.genchc.org. That's www. Make sure you hit the www. It'll come up on an error. genchc.org. You can check that out. And their number is 810-496-5777 for their health center contacts. If this is your first time, do Warriors Way, please go to spiritualwarfareunit.com. You can click on struggling, and under our struggling list, we have 16 different nonprofits that can help you with food or clothes or baby formula or training or schooling or parenting classes. And if you're not struggling, you know somebody does, all that will be help them for free. So you help us, help them, help you. All right. So Russ, we are here this morning, and you are a peer recovery coach for
Genesee Community Health Center.
Genesee Community Health Center. And you guys are all over?
We actually have two locations directly across the street from Genesee Health Systems, which is our parent company.
There we go.
Kitty corner from Hurley Hospital. Mm-hmm. And we have another location across the street from Meyer Elga Credit Union on Center Road.
Oh, yeah. They got a nice little Coney Island over there, if I remember correctly.
Paul's Coney Island.
You got it. Yeah, see? Yeah. All right. So, what's the difference, real quick, so people know, between Genesee Health System and Genesee Community Center? Like, they're your parenting company. What's the difference? You guys specialize in something specific, correct?
Yeah. Genesee Health Systems is more case management oriented, whereas we're actually a primary care doctor. But we have an integrated healthcare system, so we not only do primary care, but we do behavioral health services as well as SUD services.
All right, and your specific work is what? Tell people what kind of an outline of what your job description is.
I do everything.
All right, well, we can't start with God and then work our way down.
My boss gets mad when I say it.
All right, so let me back up. So you deal with drug rehabilitation.
Yes, when I first hired in, I was on a team that worked directly with our access department. Anyone with any flavor of Medicaid insurance would go through access to get into detox or inpatient rehabilitation.
So dealing with people who are struggling with addiction.
Correct.
All right, so your job is specific to dealing with people who are struggling with addiction, helping them get what they need.
Correct.
All right. A little less than everything, but extremely important what you do. All right. So you said you grew up in the Durand area, which is a very country kind of area. So what was that like, early life there? Parents, two parents, one parent, siblings?
Both parents still alive, still married.
Cool.
I have four brothers.
Woo! Where do you fit?
I am second oldest.
Oh, so you were the guy that was like trying to make everybody get along?
Sure.
So that's a no.
Or a little bit of a troublemaker.
Really? Normally it's the oldest that's a troublemaker, and then the second one's
actually,
like...
Actually, my older brother's always been the good guy. Yeah.
Okay.
The black sheep came second, I think. Grew up in Durand, obviously.
Yeah. Sports, do anything?
No, not really. Had a interesting religious upbringing that part of their belief is to not make a name for yourself, kind of thing.
Not make a name for yourself.
So we weren't encouraged in the sport kind of stuff.
All right.
So I went sideways and was on the other corner, smoking, drinking, doing the stuff you weren't.
Now, when did like that? Like, so you were always like the black sheep rebel kid? Just the way you're made? Like, I mean, I know I was too.
I was the one sticking up for family. That
I was always like, you can't do that, and I'm like, hold my Coke. I think I can do that. I'm pretty sure.
Watch me.
Yeah. So you're saying I can't or I shouldn't? Right. Like that was me. I remember being
that you're going to regret it.
Right. Like when I was a kid, we would go play capture the flag, but sneak out of your house after 10 o'clock to go do it, right? So my dad caught me, gives me 3 swats, and I was like, well, 3 swats versus 5 hours, that's like 0.75 swat per hour at sophomore, and I'm like, that ratio's good.
Maybe it's worth it.
Yeah, no, I was like, for 5 hours of fun, that's now once the ratio went up,
right,
and the swatting was equaling the hour age, then I was like, look, guys, I like you. I don't like you 5, 6 swats. I like you 3, 4 swats, right? So, all right, so You're growing up in Durham. When did you start getting in with the wild kids?
I think I smoked pot for the first time somewhere between 5th and 6th grade.
Shut your mouth. 5th and what? 10, 9 and 10, 10, 11?
I got drunk for the first. I don't know when I first tasted booze, but I got drunk for the first time the winter of 1977, which puts me about 12.
12. So you had pot first, and then you had alcohol?
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
Well, we used to sneak, but that was the first real,
that early?
Interesting story. It's actually, here's one of my funny stories, and I'll give it to you real fast.
Yeah. Hit me.
Around 12 years old, I've got a mentor teaching me how to work on cars and all that kinds of stuff. Mm-hmm. It's the middle of winter. The only thing in the garage keeping us warm is this big 300-watt light bulb. And we got a 71 Skylark.
Okay.
We're putting the engine back in. And there's 2 pints of MD 2020 grape.
Old Mad Dog.
Yeah. Sitting on a bench, right?
Yep.
And we get the engine set down in, and he says, if you start getting cold, if you just take a little nip off that, it'll warm you up.
No kidding.
And I says, all right, whatever. I'm not involved at the moment, right? Mm-hmm. Working on cars.
Yeah.
So we get the engine set in. He's going to climb underneath and attach the 8 bolts that hold the transmission to the engine, get the spline lined up and everything.
Okay.
And before he comes back out, I have actually finished off both. I took a sip, and it warmed me up, but it was a good kind of a warm. So I attached something and took a sip and attached something and took 2 sips and attached. And then I realized the first one was gone and I was going to be in trouble. But he knows I opened it because he heard me.
Yeah.
So now I'm hiding the bottle somewhere, and I open the second one, and I got to take a pull off that because he knows I've already done. Before I did, in no time, they're both gone. So the first time I actually had access to booze,
you just got rocked.
I drank alcoholically. It was just I drank all of it.
Wow. At 12.
Yeah.
No kidding. Your parents weren't aware of any of this?
No, actually, we were down at their house. So it was actually humorous at the time. No one knew the beginning.
Yeah.
That was.
Dang. So, how long did it take before you realized, this is a thing? Because I got to imagine, through high school, you were probably the cool guy, right?
I don't know about cool, but no, definitely enjoyed alcohol. I've always been the tall kid.
Okay.
Was able to get into the bar. I'm not going to say what bar.
Yeah.
Get into a bar. Well underage.
Wow.
Could hustle the pool table for drinks, and then
really,
once everybody saw me drinking, then they'd serve me, kind of thing. So that started out 16-ish.
16.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so you're 16. What about your brothers? How didn't you get away with this? I imagine 4 brothers. My brothers would have told on me with a quickness because they like to watch me get beat.
I did mention black sheep, didn't I?
You did. Oh, it takes one to know one.
Right. It didn't go over well. I was actually asked to not come back home around 16.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So did you go, or what happened?
I was kicked out at 16. Yeah.
So what'd you do?
I actually moved in with that family, the mentor guy, buddy of mine.
Yeah, the Skylark guy.
Hispanic family. Yep.
Okay.
Lived with them for a long time, a couple years down in San Antonio, and wound up coming back for a visit.
All right, hold on. You can't just run to San Antonio.
I'm trying.
So you stayed with them. Did you finish high school?
We moved down there, and I was entering the 12th grade.
So you stayed with them a year and then moved to Texas?
We moved down to Texas.
Okay.
When I got down there, my parents didn't sign the forms giving them parental control.
Of course.
So they couldn't send my transcripts down. So I went for 2 or 3 weeks down there. They finally realized they're not getting any paperwork, and you can't go to school here anymore.
No kidding.
So GED it is.
The GED. The dreaded GED. Yeah, my dad got one of those. GED. Hey, whatever works, right?
Hey.
All right, so you're, I'm assuming 18 at this point?
Yep. 17, 18, 19.
So what year is this?
I have
1970?
no idea.
What year did you get your GED?
That was later on in life.
Oh, okay.
I actually started working. I got out of there.
All right, so you're just skipping stuff here, man. It's all good. That's what I'm here for.
Way too much.
Help me, help you.
Yeah.
All right. So you start working in Texas because you can't go to school?
Correct.
Doing what?
I actually started working at a produce store, and I was driving a fork truck. And because I had known this family for so long, I was bilingual. So I'm actually driving fork truck, loading trucks, unloading trucks. And I'm like the go-between between the U.S.-born, non-Spanish speaking, and some of the help. So
how's your extracurricular life at this point?
It had tapered a little bit.
Because of the work?
It had slowed down just because everything was like crazy.
Yeah.
At that time. Still underaged and still indulging in alcohol.
Yeah.
But the pot and some of the other stuff had kind of slipped off.
All right, so you're like 18, 19 right now.
Right.
So like 70, 77, 78, 79.
Let me see. I got my license in 1980, which would have been 16. So it would have been...
This was 1982, 1983.
Yeah.
All right, so we're in the early 80s. You're in Texas. You're working. You're with this family that took you in. You're bilingual. That's cool. Put you in the kind of position. You're doing some stuff. And then why come back? Like, what happened?
I actually came back. Some people that we knew from Michigan came down to visit us.
Okay.
And they were heading back, so I was going to ride back with them for a visit and then catch a Greyhound.
Oh, you're just doing it just to say hey.
I was just coming back for a visit.
Oh, okay. This sounds good. I like this.
Nobody knew, nobody knew that I brought back some really good tequila.
Of course.
Because it was on the down low. When I got back into town, I called a buddy of mine from before I left, asked him if I could bring over some Mexican beer. And heck yeah, he's got a pool table in the basement, and so we're down there shooting pool.
And this is an underage buddy?
No.
Okay.
No, he's an older gentleman.
Okay.
He's my hunting mentor, if you will.
All right.
Vietnam vet, lost a leg, shot through the arm, got one in the jaw.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
So you're downstairs this pool table, shooting pool with a one-legged guy, drinking Mexican beer.
Drinking tequila salsa.
And before we finish this, we got to go to our first break. I told you this was going to crowd. This is a great place to take a break. If you've not gone to www.genchc.org, check that out on the break. You go to Spiritual Warfare Unit on YouTube, like, share, and subscribe so you can be the one to help others. Sit tight. We'll be right back. Taking a quick break from our podcast, I wanted to let you know about our life application program that we have for churches and nonprofits in the area that are trying to find programming that they can use in case the corona shuts you down and you're not able to get in. You go to spiritualwarfareunit.com. You click on our episodes, and you can check out our programs for as little as $29.99 a month to make sure that we're still getting the word out to those people that need it. Now, back to the program. All right, welcome back to the Warriors Way. Our warrior this week is Russ Hill and Carrie Chanter, and they're from Community Health Center. And we were just getting into you hanging out with a Vietnam vet with one leg shooting pool. And what happened next?
Well, it started out, we were doing a shot every game, then it was a shot in between games, then it was a shot every shot. 40-ish minutes go by, the bottle's gone.
40 minutes.
Yeah, 40 minutes, the bottle's gone. And somebody knocks on the door, and it's my parents wondering where I'm at. And I'm blown out. Oh. Just got back from Texas.
Yeah. So first thing you do is you go home and get hammered, and they catch you mid buzz.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. What happened? Did you go home, or they screw you, stay here?
Yeah, they left me.
Yeah.
That was my first real, honest to God, wake up next to the throne.
Oh, really?
Kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. To kill you, it'll do that to you. Yeah. Okay.
Oddly enough, that's the only thing I avoided after that. And everything else is no holds barred. Yeah.
Wow. All right. So you go from that parent reunion did not go well. We'll put it that way. All right.
well.
So how long did you stay before you went back? Like, how long was that stay?
I never went back. The vacation. I'm still visiting Michigan.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you never went back to?
Never went back.
All right. So hold on. So what kept you? What was the decision to stay? I made my parents mad. I'm hanging out with this vet, and that was a good time. Like,
Yeah, I'm not sure what the actual deciding factor was.
No kidding.
I just wound up here.
No kidding. All right. So you're
Back with some of the old boys and all that kind of thing, but I don't know there was any real defining.
all right. So you're catching up with your buddies. You're hanging out, partying. You're late teen, early 20s, right?
Yeah.
So what'd you do?
I wound up moving into a small apartment above a shoe store.
Okay.
If you know the area, you know the store. Right across the street from the Iron Horse Pub. So now I'm a third shift cook at the Iron Horse Pub. Actually, I guess I spent a little time hustling the tables for a little bit before I actually got a job. But
you were working before you were working.
Selling weed, hustling tables, getting drunk, doing a lot of acid.
All right.
Like that.
So you're doing acid, hanging out, smoking, drinking, partying, living the life as a young fella. And then, like, what is the next big series of events that happens? Because I got a feeling that come to Jesus moment is coming. Like, it sounds like you're partying like a freight train right now.
Not for a while. There was a whole lot of chemicals involved. Lived with my coke dealer for a while.
Really? Now, how long was the when you're going from one to the next to the next to the next? Like, what was that transition? Was it quick? Was it slow?
It wasn't really like dropping one for the other. It was more like in corporations.
Okay.
Just adding. If you drink too much, you need to do coke so that you can drink more. But then you get too high, so you got to do
All right, hold on. As a person as people who have not struggled with this, explain this, because I know what you're talking about, but people aren't going to get what you're talking about. Why would you would drink to the point you're almost blackout drunk?
Correct.
And then you would do the cocaine for what purpose?
Cocaine is a major upper, so it will wake up the dead.
All right, so you're passing out from drinking. So now we can't have that happen.
You're doing
so we're going to
Coke.
juice it, and then you jack it back up, and then what?
Well, then you're awake again, so you can drink more.
And then you drink, and then you got to keep the coke so you can keep that steady eddy, right?
Correct.
Until it crash.
Right.
And then you want to do that alone.
And you threw a bunch of weed in there to mellow out the cocaine high.
Yeah, because you can't be too high.
No.
Yeah, we don't want that. All right, and this is what we like to call a vicious circle. All right, I just want to make sure we had that clarity because some people will get it not. All right, so you're doing this daily, weekly, bi-weekly?
Daily.
And you're in your early 20s, so in your 20s you're invincible, right?
Yeah.
All right, so you're doing, anybody serious you're dating at this time or anything?
It was amongst all of that mess that I actually met my kid's mother.
Okay.
She was one of 3 that came over for a party at my place.
Okay.
Which then led to a bunch of other parties to go to, but so I wound up meeting the kid's mom.
Yeah.
I actually liked girl number 2.
Yeah.
But ended up with girl number 1.
I was giggling because I'm waiting for what you're about to say here.
So I meet their mom that night.
Okay.
We date. I kind of settled down a little bit on a lot of the extracurricular. It was just like weed and booze.
Okay.
Her parents, quite religious, non-denominational.
Gotcha.
Believers.
Yeah.
Attempted a reuniting with the spiritual way of life again.
Yeah.
Had a couple of unfortunate run-ins, not being accepted because some of my you don't fit the role. Issues.
Yeah, you don't fit the.
I was
bill.
actually working with a teen group.
Okay.
At one of the churches that we'd attended.
Yeah.
And had my secular life on the down low,
right,
as much as possible.
So you're living that 2-life thing, trying to fit into both.
And
both
someone
spots.
saw me smoking cigarettes
Just cigarettes. You didn't think that was so bad.
Because of that example to the kids, I was asked to not participate.
Wow.
In that group, and that kind of turned me off from.
And you're like, oh, I got you. I don't fit in here.
Right, and it just kind of.
All right. So how old are you when that happened?
I would have been early marriage, so probably.
Wait a minute. You can't just say early marriage. That's just. All right. So you're dating.
Yeah, we get married in.
How long were you dating before you got married?
Met in 85, married in 87.
So this makes you like late 20s?
Right.
27,
Yep.
28?
Yep.
Okay.
Mid-late 20s.
And so how long were you trying to go do the church thing before you're like, Because it feels like that would all be like a couple years together.
About 3 years.
Okay.
From 85 to 88-ish.
All right. And then the child comes in when?
Shortly after we were wed.
So 86. So you skipped all these pieces of information.
We were married in early 87 and gave birth in December of 87.
So where's your extracurricular activities at? Are you still keeping them down? You still working at the Iron Horse as a cook?
No. At this time, I'm working for a company doing telephone cables in the GM plants up in Saginaw.
Oh, okay. Is that a good job?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So do you have a house, or are you still staying in an apartment?
We've got a small house in Corunna.
Okay. All right. So you're 27, 28, married, have a child, got a good job. Yep. Now, where is your habits at this point?
At this point, it's whittled down to a lot of alcohol.
Okay.
And some weed here and there, but I'm trying to keep that secret kind of thing.
Okay. And why were you trying to keep it secret?
Because that was like frowned upon.
Oh.
It's illegal.
Oh, yeah. That part of it would make it a little bit frustrating, I think.
Alcohol's not.
Alcohol wasn't.
Right.
I gotcha. Okay. So 27, 28, trying to do the family thing, try to get in church thing, shunned you because you're smoking cigarettes, got it. And then how long does this happen? How long you stay in this little zone?
I'm in that zone probably till around 90, maybe 91.
So that's not that long then.
No, not that long.
It's just maybe a couple years.
We wound up moving from Corunna out to the Ovid-Elsie area.
Okay.
And the people...
Was it like an upgrade? What was the reason for moving? Just better house, better area? Had to move?
It's just too much to the story. I started hanging drywall.
Okay.
And we moved out there just to get the country life for the kids.
Gotcha.
The people that we rented a house from owned a bar. That didn't help.
It's weird how that always is in there.
Didn't help.
Yeah.
I was drywalling for a living.
Yeah.
That didn't help. So at this time, we're early 90s, 91, 92.
Mm-hmm. And you said kids. You have two?
By this time, my oldest is born in December of 87.
Okay.
My second is born January of 91.
All right.
And my daughter is born January of 92.
Okay.
So it's like boom, boom.
So, and you said doing the drywalling was not good.
Not for my drug and alcohol use.
So give us a snapshot of what you're talking about. Like you would go to work, and then what would happen? What was your day like? Because you're hiding the pot, right? So,
on the way to work, it's weed from...
like in the morning.
Ovid-Elsie all the way out to Grand Rapids, just passing
Wake and
dudes.
bake.
Yeah, wake and bake. Drywall. Lunch incorporates beer.
Really?
Drywall some more, and then you've got the drive from Grand Rapids home, and that required 2 pints.
Required 2 pints.
Yep. You pick up a pint, you get about halfway home, stop, grab another pint. That gets me into town where I would pick up a fifth for home because that's what I'm going to drink. I'd buy a fifth and then some beer for the wife.
Yeah.
And so at this point in the 90s, I'm still at like half gallon a day.
All right. And what is your personality like at this time? Like you were a nice guy, happy guy, pissed off guy? What kind of guy were you?
I flunked 3 anger management courses.
I didn't know you could do that.
I caught a charge at the second one.
Okay. Are these domestics? Are these bar fights? Are these both?
Little of both.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right, got little kids. You're just trying to maintenance. Sounds like the wheels are starting to fall off. The engine's catching fire, right? That's what I'm hearing.
Everyone saw wheels falling off.
Yeah, but you're like
Probably
downshift
before
and hit the gas.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
All right, so
This
you're
just puts
like
you in the
early
passing
30s
lane.
right now, right?
Correct.
Okay. All right, man. You're sending us on this road. What happens?
It goes downhill from there. There's a separation between the wife and I.
Okay. Do you know what year that was? 93, 94?
Would have been probably 95.
95. Okay, so you lasted about another 3 years. Man, that's actually a really long time given what you're doing.
Oh, yeah.
Man, you're a hard-headed dude. All right.
Yeah, I learned a little quicker today.
Okay, so we're 95. Got to do the separate.
95-ish, issues around family.
Yeah.
There's separation between her and I. I moved, by this time, to skip back a little bit, we had moved into a house in Owasso,
Okay.
south end of Owasso. When we split there, she stayed there with the kids, and I moved to Grand Rapids.
Grand Rapids, wow.
Yep. Was not a good decision.
Yeah.
Drugs, alcohol, constantly. Daily's not even.
Now, where are you staying right now at this point?
I'm living in a house with a bunch of other guys.
Oh, no.
And we're all drywallers and other construction trades.
Oh, no.
And
You're creating a trap house.
It is, yeah, today would be considered a trap house.
Wow. And just for those that don't know, that's a place where you get them, buy them, sell them, do them, and everybody stays there, right?
Right.
Man, we're going to have to cut a break. This is a good spot to take a break. We're in Grand
Absolutely.
Rapids. If you've not gone to www.genchc.org, please check out what they're doing. They do good work. If you've gone to our website yet and help someone out, please like, share, and subscribe on YouTube. Sit tight. We'll be right back.
I'm really impressed with the teachings that Isaac has been bringing to us, as this is all based from Proverbs.
I like it because it's simple, and it doesn't matter who you are. It's very easy to understand and apply to your life.
You know, it points out, you know, my bad parts, and you know, but it's showing me how to do the good parts, and you know, I'm trying to apply that and you know, make a better life for myself because I'm tired of where I've been.
It's impacted a lot of the guys as they continue to talk and ask questions after the meetings, as they speak to one another regarding the meeting and the messages and the topics that are being brought up, which are down-to-earth topics of situations and things that we live with on a day-to-day basis.
He takes the Bible and he breaks it down into simple terms and where you can understand. And like I said before, sometimes a lot of churches, even the Salvation Army, sometimes we start using these big words that people don't understand, like even saying someone got saved. Well, what does that mean? What does it mean when you say someone got saved? And it's accepting Jesus into your heart. So it's like words like that we use that people don't understand.
It's just very interesting how he points out, you know, the different things of, you know, the sin part, and then he comes back with the, you know, how to make it better, and he just points it out. It's there. You know, I didn't know all this stuff was in there, but now that he's pointing it out, it's like, wow, you know, I guess if you really dig into the Bible, you find these things.
This is a daily moral standards that we can live by, that the teachings are coming from. And honestly, we can take verse by verse as what he's done, and pretty much he's done the hard work for us, and now laying it out so that we have an easier understanding.
There's some people who don't like to be in Bible classes, but this one seems to get their attention.
All right, welcome back to the Warriors Way. Our Warriors this week is Russ Hill and Carrie Chanter, and she's sitting shotgun with our guy here. He's going through his story. So, Russ, you had just moved to Grand Rapids, and you were partying like a Kennedy. And how long did that go on?
I was out in Grand Rapids for about a year and a half or so, almost 2 years. Attempted to reunite with the wife and kids back in Owasso.
Yeah, how'd that go?
Around 98-ish.
How'd that work?
The final separation was in 99. Didn't go well. I wound up moving into Flint.
Okay.
And stayed at my folks for a bit.
Your parents? Wow.
Yep. Stayed there for a bit. And through some difficulties with addiction that the kid's mom had, situation got a little crazy around the house.
Yeah.
And I was going to Owasso for supervised visits at our split.
Yep,
She had
gotcha.
custody.
Yep.
And I got a phone call while I was at work. I got a job at a computer store
Doing what?
on Miller Road. I was a service tech.
No kidding.
Yep, I've been playing with computers since about 85.
Okay.
Usually drunk, but playing with them. So I always had kind of that eye for technology.
Yeah.
Put my hands on stuff.
Gotcha.
Got a job as an upgrade technician at a computer store. Within about 2 years, I was service manager.
Okay.
I'm a quick study sometimes, unless it's bad. Then I'm a really slow study.
Yeah.
So I'm at work and I get a phone call, and it's the social worker from Owasso saying, "Can you pick the kids up?"
Oh my
And I
gosh.
said, "I get out at 5," and she said, "No, now."
Wow.
And they were with me the last 8 years.
Okay. So, did you say you're staying
Of
at your
things
parents
going
during this
bad.
time, or you?
I was.
Okay. So
Yep.
the kids come in and stay with you with the parents.
Yep. And then I eventually bought a house down off Atherton, Saginaw area.
All right. So you're, let's see, mid to late 30s at this point.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is around 2000, 2001, 2002, right in that area.
I got custody of the kids in 2000.
Okay.
Yep.
So doing computer work, custody kids. Where's the addiction at this point?
Not well.
No kidding. Wow.
Not well.
So you got all this responsibility, and you got this demon on your back.
Yep. I'm actually had devised a way to be able to breathalyze in the morning and pass, trying to prove myself.
Yeah.
And I didn't say peanut butter works. And I wound up with custody of the kids.
Yeah.
And got a house on the south end of Flint. The kids are with me. Had to go through transfer them from Owasso to Flint schools. Great story amongst all this, the resiliency of kids. My oldest son in 7th grade forgot about the honors or awards ceremony at the end of the year.
Wow.
Tells me last minute, so we quick pile in to drive over there. And he received a scholarship,
Wow.
a 4-year scholarship.
For what? Do you remember?
For college.
No, I mean like for like robotics or
No,
for whatever he was doing.
yeah.
In 7th
it was
grade.
In 7th grade.
Man, there's some smarts there.
Yeah.
Wow. All right, so
Even amongst everything that I was putting them through, the kids able to.
yeah, I grew up in an environment
Thank God
very
for
similar.
community.
My mom struggled with addiction, and so we would move every 6 months like clockwork, right? Just boom, 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 and you're just surviving. You're just riding the wave, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, so when did the proverbial crap hit the feces?
The last 8 years when the kids were with me, by the time January 6, 2008 came about, my last drug, the last time I was strapped down in the psych ward at the hospital.
Yeah.
The last 8 years I was in McLaren Psych Ward 14 times.
14.
Did not appreciate waking up.
No kidding.
Just couldn't deal.
Okay. Stress and the kids and the job and the life.
By the time January 6, 2008 came about, my kids were pretty much deemed runaways.
Really?
Yeah, it was not easy living with me.
Right.
Yeah.
So this January 6th, 2008. So this puts you in your early 40s?
I sobered up 43.
Okay. So you're going through all this. You go into the psych work. That's over 1 month, one time a month.
Well, 14 times in 8 years is about twice a year.
Oh.
14 times.
In 8 years.
In
Okay.
8
I was like, in 1 year, I'm like, geez, that's like every couple of weeks. Okay. So you're going there. So you're having this, and you're struggling with your anger, you're struggling with your addiction, you're struggling with your drinking. It hits. Why was it that date?
You know, I don't know if anybody at the hospital knew that was going to be the last one.
No, I know. Some decision, some choice.
You know, there was some circumstances around that was the thing that broke me inside.
Right.
Just couldn't.
That moment
do it.
Is the thing, the decision, whatever it was that you looked at yourself that you didn't do or you didn't accomplish, you weren't good enough, or whatever that thing was that you said, this is it. I'm done with that.
Yep. That circumstance is different for everybody in addiction.
That's why.
So it's not the thing, it's that it worked.
Right.
It's that it broke you.
Yeah.
Until that spot. So I'm in the psych ward, strapped down for the last time.
Yeah.
There for about 15 days.
Yes.
I get out of there and I get sent to a crisis residential unit, which means you don't need to be in the psych ward, but you're not ready for public yet.
Right, transitional.
Yep. So I go into this crisis residential unit for about 11 days.
Okay.
And it's there that somebody threw out the idea, have you ever thought of rehab? I'm thinking, no.
After all those years, that's the first time?
I got introduced to AA back in the 90s.
Okay.
I went in there, realized that I wasn't like you people, and then stayed drunk for 12 years.
Yeah. Wow. So
this is the first time anybody actually said anything about actual like rehab. Go in and live.
So you
somewhere for
were
a month.
what you would call then a highly functional. Like you're a highly functional alcoholic because you were able
externally.
Well, sure. It's all a show, right? Do. Right? So you're doing the show. You got the kids. You're trying to make it happen. All the defeat and the depression that comes from not handling things properly. You get to this moment, and you're like, oh, my God, this is it. I'm not going to do this anymore. And then what's the transition from that decision to what you're doing now? Like, how did all that roll?
That's another 2 hours.
Well, we got 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a light over. We're doing the movie version, not the book.
So I make it through rehab.
Yeah.
Get discharged. Wind up working at a different computer store for a while.
Okay. Like, did you lose your house and all that during all this?
Oh, that's all gone.
Okay.
By the time I got to rehab, I'm 43. I got 2 duffel bags of clothes and this one bush to put them under.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. So you're working on it, and is there any person that you met going through that process that really helped you through it, or was it just the process itself?
I have to say it was the process itself.
Okay.
I did have 2 people that I had met through a bipolar depression support group that I tried to do. Well, yeah, that was a mess. But they were like in my corner and like had my back, loved me when I wasn't lovable, kind of thing, for a short period of time.
Yeah.
So I get out of rehab.
How long was that? Was that 90?
No, I was there for 31 days.
31. Okay.
The bus dropped me back off on Professional Drive and said, "Hope you make it." So here I'm 43, trying to figure out what to do, where to go.
Right.
Everything's gone.
Right.
Lived with a friend for a little while. Got back into the workforce.
Yeah.
They said when I got out of rehab, you should probably hit a meeting.
Yeah.
Sooner than later.
Yeah.
So I go to my first meeting the following day at noon.
Yeah.
It's middle of winter, February-ish or something.
Jeez.
So I walked to the meeting. I'm sure people said stuff. I don't know what they said. The only thing I remember from that is as I was trying to go back to get my bags and stuff, some guy kept following me across the parking lot saying, "You need a ride, need a ride." I'm like, "I'm good.
Yeah.
I got this."
But you didn't.
Right?
Yeah.
So he convinced me. I get in the truck. He drives me a few blocks down, drops me off, staying in a basement, not far from the meeting location. And
Yeah.
a little bit unbeknownst to me, he was just trying to figure out where to pick me up tomorrow.
Wow.
So he shows up at 11:30, knocking on the door. "Hey, you want to do that again?"
What a good dude, man.
Yeah. Became my first sponsor
There you go.
in the 12-step recovery world.
All right. So how long did you do like that? Were you like faithful with that for a while or what?
The 12-step recovery
Yeah.
stuff, to this day.
Outstanding.
Yep.
All right. So you get in there and we're getting ready to take a break. This is a great place to stop. But when we come back, our third session is our gem session where we get some funny stories and all this havoc and craziness. And we kind of reminisce on some things that are funny. And then we'll finish up the story. And then we're going to be able to get to Sherry and what they're doing now. So one more chance. If you haven't gone to GCHC.org, make sure to punch in the www on that. Please check that out. And if you haven't liked, share, and subscribe yet, please do that. Everybody else, sit tight. We're going to be right back.
This is a recovery day for not only for people in recovery, but for the families of those in recovery. So we're very grateful for that.
So Dwayne, this is the first year you've not actually participated in Soberfest.
Correct.
But you're 81?
Yes, sir.
And just wanted to be out here supporting everybody,
Yes,
right?
sir. Yes,
All right.
sir.
Well, we really appreciate you.
It's a cool thing. I mean, it's my first time being here, so I'm very, very impressed. Overwhelming, kind of.
I heard about it through my NA meetings, and I was excited to go for the first time and meet other people who are in recovery and working towards their goals.
All right. How's it going?
Great. I feel great. I feel good to be back to myself again, and every day is just a new life for me. I feel like I have a second chance.
That's what's next. Welcome back to the Warrior's Way. Our warrior this week is Russ Hill, and he is a peer recovery coach. And he was just finishing up his stories, and we're starting a gem session. Now, he told me at the very beginning he had a funny story, and we almost started off with it, but I said, wait, because I want my response to be good. So what do you got for us?
So I've got this job today as a direct result of trying to do this recovery thing. A lot of the recovery thing is this reliance and dependence on God.
Yep.
Right?
Faith. Yep.
So I am working with a good buddy of mine, my current roommate, doing floor tiles and bathrooms and backsplash and stuff. I've taken a position with one of the 12-step organizations to be the liaison between those in treatment and like 12-step recovery.
Yeah.
But I got nothing, so I'm cold calling everybody.
Yeah.
And in the process of cold calling everybody, I get put in contact with Lisa Coleman.
Okay.
And I'm trying to explain to her what it is I'm trying to do, and I don't really know what I'm trying to do. I just want to be your guy if you need help.
Yeah.
And she says, well, this is amazing. Have you ever heard of recovery coaches? I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
She sends me an application. I fill it out.
On a cold call.
On a cold call. I go through the training.
Yeah.
And at the end of the training, I'm like, man, this is cool. I could probably do something like this, but I don't know. So this last day, I've got this conversation with me and God going on like, I'm hard-headed. You got to tell me, right?
Yeah.
5 different times throughout the day as I'm asking you, what should I do?
Yeah.
Somebody says, hey, this is how they hire people, right? I'm like, yeah, cool, thanks.
What should I do?
Yeah, but God, what should I do?
I need a sign.
And
he's got billing. Well, here's your sign.
The last break of the day, I'm coming back and I'm thinking, dude, I know it's been brought up by, I'm like, I need a 2x4. You got to talk to me.
Yeah.
And as I come in the room, somebody says, hey, are you Russ? Yeah, come here. You know they hire people doing this, don't you? I'm like, all right, okay.
That's kind of,
So
that's
here I am.
awesome. Yeah.
Here I am.
Yeah, I need a neon sign and a,
Right. Yes, please.
and a neck slap.
Right.
You know, I got to, because I'm too dumb to quit. Like, I just keep going. I'm like, oh, you
Yeah.
sure? Notice, yeah. I feel that it's such a personal level. That's so funny. We'll probably get that up on our gems and have that sit out there. So your story ends up with an amazing finish, right? So
I think.
I do too. So let's tell everybody how we finished off here. So you were just going into AA and doing that and found a buddy, helped you through, and then what happened because of that reaction? That choice resulted in what?
It's resulted in over 14 years of continuous sobriety, no drinks, drugs, nothing. Around 6 years in,
You got this.
I get contacted from one of my kids saying, I need to stop. I can't stop. How the hell did you do it?
No kidding. And you had
One-
the answer.
And I called all of my buddies and said, hey, my kid,
Yeah.
you got to show up tonight.
Yeah. And they did?
He just celebrated 8 years.
It's over.
Yeah.
Outstanding. So the relationship with the kids came.
I was convinced because my kids never knew me.
Yeah.
They knew the drunk jerk,
Yeah.
the high jerk,
Yeah.
and very difficult relationship.
Sure.
Have been able to mend that well enough that I've seen all of my grandkids born. I am papa to all 8 of them.
There you go.
And babysitting and being an active part of their life is just unbelievable.
So I just want to make sure I sum this up properly. So struggled with every kind of addiction that you had till your early 40s, made a decision of enough, going into the psycho-billy craze, getting in and out, which it's its own story at a different time, right?
Oh, yeah.
And made the decision to get clean and sober because you finally got broke and said, I can't be this dude. And the result of that action of going through and being committed was an outcome of success, which has helped you with your relationships, is what you're saying, with your faith, personal faith, and with your career. Do I have that about summed up correctly?
100%.
Well, Russ, I'm telling you, I think that's awesome. I love what you're doing. The experience that you have is going to help people, and it got to help your kids, which is awesome. They came to you for that decision. So all of that thing that you consider a struggle, from my perspective, looks like wisdom. And you got 43 years of wisdom that you get to help people with who struggle with the same thing. To me, that sounds like a good thing.
Absolutely. Can I give you one last quip?
Yeah.
Okay. So in the 12-step recovery world, you sponsor people. Mm-hmm. So I wind up sponsoring a guy, dreadlocks and all, detoxing him on my couch. He's sober. He winds up sponsoring a guy he used to get mad at because the other guy wouldn't share his dope. So he gets sober, and then that guy sponsors my son.
Really?
So my son is actually my great-grand sponsee as the lineage goes in recovery.
Yeah.
And then my son turns around and winds up sponsoring that first guy's best friend growing up who just celebrated 4 years down in Florida.
So it's almost like
No idea who's going to be affected.
So it's almost like you made a sober community all by yourself by making those decisions.
Yep.
And actions speak louder than words, right?
Yep, it's amazing.
That's a gem. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
That story is going to be up on our podcast, and we'll probably hit that one on TV. I like that one a lot. Now, we haven't had a chance to talk to Carrie, so Carrie, we're going to have to put that microphone up there.
Yeah.
And your job title is what exactly?
Director of Prevention, Health, and Wellness at Genesee Health System.
Woo, that's a $10 handle right there. All right.
I'm just a coach.
Yeah, I do stuff.
Don't say that.
All right, so you direct what? What is your function?
Well, really, it's to be more than just, so at Genesee Health System, we are a specialty mental health provider, right? And we also have a Genesee Community Health Center, that's that primary care,
Yep.
integrated care, behavioral health. And my job is to make sure that we go beyond just the mental health and the primary care that's in the integrated model, but it's really to look out for other things like wellness for people in general. So there's lots of it. It's a fancy title for lots of initiatives under.
Yeah, that's a $10 handle. I'd hate to have to pay for that plaque, right?
Well, no.
All right. So, most important thing that you want people to know about what you do is what?
Well, I just listening to Russ's story.
Awesome.
I hope people would hear that there's so much hope.
Yeah.
That you don't have to live like this. And although he was stubborn and took a hot minute,
A hot minute.
just a hot minute, there's always time to seek recovery, and there's a whole lot of hope there. And what I think is interesting is, my guess is that anyone who's listening to this or sees this, addiction affects us all,
Yeah.
whether it's your own personal story or a parent. I have a hard time believing that addiction doesn't affect everyone, right? So it does.
Between people you're related to,
Right.
family, friends, and
Yeah.
other, it hits so many people.
Well,
It's-
listening to him, I am an adult child of my father was an alcoholic, worked 35 years every day, didn't miss a day, very functional, and his pathway to recovery was somewhat similar, but everyone has a different pathway, and
Yeah.
we have to respect that. So
Yeah, the pathway, the story, the reason, the result, and instead of being a victim, you become a survivor, and that's always the thing I'm looking for, is what is that moment, because you go from being beat up to start managing, right, and you start taking over that thing that's been kicking the crap out of you for years. And I love those stories, because so many times people will struggle and they become a victim of that thing, but there's always a chance to survive and fight back, and and then when you hit hard and you go for it, right? And that's what I loved about your story, is just as hard-headed as you were with the other. Once you made that decision, you were just as hard-headed. So, all right, so you're doing that. So do you guys do anything like as far as fundraising or community events or stuff like that?
Thank you for asking that. We at GHS and the GCHC, this has been a crazy season for us. It seems like every day we have multiple teams going out in the community at different events and things like that. We don't do fundraising, but we have a ton of different outreach events. And I guess my message to the community would be that mental health and substance use disorder are so common, and there's so much stigma that goes around it. But I would hope that we can get past the stigma and that get people into treatment. And they shouldn't be afraid to approach GHS or the GCHC if they need help with anything.
All right, so if someone's struggling with this, like they would call that 810 number for the health center? Or what would they do?
There's a couple different numbers. I mean, if somebody wants to be screened for mental illness and substance use disorder, they can always call 810-257-3740, and that could be a nice starting point. However, if they know that they want to go to Genesee Community Health Center for their care, or just so that we have a medication-assisted treatment program through the GCHC. So if somebody already knows they have a substance use disorder and knows that maybe they want to be in a MAT program like Suboxone or Vivitrol, that's something that certainly could be integrated into their care at the GCHC.
And if you had to guess, how many people struggle with, this kind of illness? Like what is, like your numbers, I mean, are you guys almost full?
Well, I know for GHS, we at least serve 20,000 each year in our county.
Hold on, 20,000 people.
And that would be for mental health and substance use disorder, and that's
based on the numbers of the county, that's 1 out of 10.
Yeah. We certainly, people do struggle with substance use and mental illness.
Wow.
Largely undiagnosed.
Yeah. So what would somebody look like if they weren't sure they were struggling? Like, what would they be looking for so they'd know to get a hold of you? Like, what would be some of the symptomatic issues?
Well, gosh, it's very complex, and it can look very different for many people. As far as on the substance use side, if people are if people are changing their daily habits or things that usually bring them joy, if that's changing, maybe their physical appearance, maybe they're taking some risky behaviors. Help me out here, Russ. What else am I missing?
Well, I just wanted to know, so if someone was like, man, I want to check into that, and because they're always going to ask two things. They're like, does it really work, and how much does it cost, right?
Well, the good news is with GHS and GCHC, they help you figure out your insurance, and even if you don't have insurance, it's not a problem. They're going to help you navigate that system.
Wait a minute. So if you have no insurance, you can go there, and they'll help you with the insurance, so then you can get yourself and your family taken care of.
Yeah.
Man. What was that number again?
Well,
What's the number to that? Because that's the one probably people are going to want.
Well,
right?
and honestly, they can start either at the health center or GHS.
Either
but,
or. Okay.
I would say a good number to call is 810-257-3740. And honestly, that's a 24/7 number.
Oh,
so
okay.
if people are in crisis over the weekend, at night, they're always going to get somebody that's going to help direct them to where they need to be.
And
All
if they called the health center line, they would be put in contact with one of the coaches that would
Yes.
help them sign up for.
All right, and what if they have a child that's struggling with this same process?
Same thing.
Same thing. They definitely see kids at GCHC.
All right, so you can see kids, you can see adults, families. Do you got family?
Yep.
Okay.
Lots of family
So
supports.
if someone's struggling with this, you are the spot to go. This is the reason why I had them on the show, because they do amazing work. I didn't know the number was 20,000. I was thinking less than that. Man, that's 460,000 people in the county. Blah blah blah. Do the
Yeah.
math, right? Man, that was absolutely amazing. All right, do you have any events coming up that you're going to be at that you want people to know about? Because I know we're
Gosh.
doing a Unity walk this weekend. There's something else in
Right.
September coming up. So
I have to be honest, there's so many, and I don't have the calendar right in front of me.
It's cool.
But they'll probably be somewhere this weekend, is my guess. And
can they go to your website?
Oh, yeah. If they go to the genhs.org, that's the GeneseeHealthSystem.org, they can definitely, www, they can definitely check out some different places. We have a mobile unit that's out in the community that's a big blue bus sometimes that they might see.
Okay.
So lots of different projects going on. And I wanted to make sure that people know that we have naloxone or Narcan
Okay.
at the health center.
And for those that don't know, Narcan does what?
Basically, it's an antidote if somebody is having an opioid overdose. It has to
So
be
if someone's
opioids.
overdosing, they can give it to them and it'll stop them from overdosing.
Yes.
All right. Well, last question real quick. What is you said you have a blue mobile bus that you see in the community. What's the bus for?
Yeah, so what we've noticed is that people request the bus to come, and we have professionals on board that are counselors and can help them, connect them to services they might need. It could be anything from maybe they need food, clothing, and home, shelter, and all that stuff, or connections to resources for substance use. And so
You
a lot
have
of
a
times,
bus that just goes around the communities?
well, they're usually at scheduled events. However,
Okay.
you might see us. I believe it's either Tuesdays or Thursdays. They have a schedule that they do go out and park in different communities and just try
Okay.
to connect people.
Ross, do you do the bus thing?
Yeah, it's actually the Russ bus.
It's the Russ, so
Russ
people can see the
bus.
bus, they can see Russ.
Correct.
Man,
We
that's
actually-
cool.
We actually have one for the health center
Yeah,
that we
two
had
buses,
even at our Pride Festival that
Okay.
just happened. We were parked downtown.
Yeah.
Did Narcan trainings, have a bunch of swag to give away, and just trying to engage the community.
Man, so if you're struggling with stuff, you could meet our cool people we met here. You could meet Russ on the Russ bus. That's hilarious. And I just want to thank you guys for coming down. I appreciate everything that Genesis Health System does. This is why we're going to make a partner. We're going to have a link to our website so you can click right on them and go right to them. So if you're struggling, or better yet, a family member struggling, you now know how to get to them. Also use UCAN. And if they're struggling on there for mental health, and same things and setups that we can get you there, hospitals, so on and so forth. Russ, thank you so much for telling everybody the story.
Absolutely.
That story is going to help a butt ton of people, and I really look forward to what we're going to do in the future. This is our last chance. It was good to see you guys this week. If you've gone to Spiritual Warfare Unit, clicked on Struggling, you'll see our nonprofits that we're working with. We have a Proverbs program that we put on there for faith-based rehabilitation for those that are looking for that. Thank you so much for stopping in, and we'll see you guys next week. Do you have a nonprofit in your area that's doing a lot of work that people should know about? Feel free to contact Spiritual Warfare Unit at 810-715-9319, and we would love to have them on to see what good they're doing in the community and find out their story. Thank you so much.
Too much and let me stay this way.